So, I am 40, unemployed, and I'm at this intersection in life where I have the opportunity to make this huge change. And I don't know what that is yet. I've been spending a lot of time in New York, and I love it there because there's so much to do, right? I can go to the opera, the ballet, the Phil. I can eat any kind of food at any time of day. I can walk through the city. I don't have to drive, and I hate driving with a passion. So I'm looking at moving there. I'm slowly making steps to sublet my apartment. And I don't have a job. If anybody has any leads, please reach out. But I'm mostly just wondering if I do an experiment of like doing less and seeing how much the universe delivers. You know, like I'm not trying to push anything. I just really want this to be easy. And I know people will be like, well, life isn't easy and it's never easy and don't give up. And I've never given up. My life has not been easy by any means. I've been through massive loss, family estrangement, been in relationships, been single, and I feel like I'm finally like content and at home in myself. And I have a great family root system, friend system here that I have dug those roots so deep now that I can kind of branch out further. And I'm excited and terrified all at the same time. Kind of just want to tell you guys who I am, what I'm going through right now, because I feel like I'm not alone, but I'm so motivated and open to whatever's going to happen. It's hard to find like your group of people that want to support that. So I guess I'm just coming on here to kind of introduce myself and introduce what phase of life I'm in and connect with others that are kind of in this space of big change in the job market, job hunting, all of that, and figuring out what's next over 40.
Trying to figure it out at 40 is you're behind the eight ball. I admire her courage. I do, especially for somebody who's looking to get, come to New York City. I mean, look, at 40 years old with no kids, her dating and social leverage isn't what it was when she was in her 20s. That's the reality of it. Women in that age bracket who are financially unstable, those are the women who often struggle more because they can't lean into their youth, their femininity, their pretty privilege, whatever you want to call it. And in a place like New York City, listen, the dating pool is brutally competitive. She's talking about finding ease and letting the universe deliver. But the truth is that the universe could care less. The universe doesn't pay rent. And emotional contentment doesn't attract viable partners in a high-cost city like New York City. Whenever I hear these women talk like, I'm going to allow the universe to do what it does, I shake my head because it always ends up the same way. It's the same story over and over and over again. Alone, miserable, and single. Men in her age range who are established, right? In their 40s, these guys are generally looking for women who want children, commitment, right? Not someone floating through life experimenting. When we get this idea that you've experimented and you're 40 years old, those are red flags. She's not 25 years old. There's a big difference. There's no safety net of youth or time to rebuild if things don't go your way. At 40, every decision you make carries compounding consequences, especially financial ones. Now, I know she said, she had She wasn't alone. To me, that's code for she's got a sugar daddy. It could also be that she's probably a trust fund baby. I don't know. A lot of trust fund babies moving into New York City and California. But moving to New York without a job is absolutely diabolical. The average one bedroom in Brooklyn easily runs over $2,500. 22 to 2,500, and that's in a shitty neighborhood, in a shitty apartment, like one of those pre-war buildings where the bathrooms are pink. Even with all the vacancies in New York City and Queens and Brooklyn, landlords still expect proof of income. They still want 40 times the rent, or you got to come with a guarantor. It doesn't sound like she has a plan, and she doesn't have an income or a guarantee. Yet she's talking about setting up her apartment and subletting it. Like, it's not that easy. How much money are you going to be making when you sublet the apartment? Like New York, if you're not paying attention, with the newly elected mayor, Zohran Mamdani, which I don't know how New York has allowed this to happen. This is why I know New York is not New York anymore. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's just filled with people from all over the world. You don't really have that many native New Yorkers because they all left. They all went to North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. They moved out. New York is headed into a period of economic uncertainty. Rent control expansions, police funding cuts, right? Businesses are getting the hell out of there, which we all know business pay half of the taxes in New York City. So when you don't have any of these businesses there, how are you going to get a job? Like, for someone unemployed, this is the worst possible city to experiment in. Like, what are you thinking? I mean, she's still attractive, but at 40, when she says she wants to live there because of the opera and the ballet, like, to me, she sounds like a tourist who wants to experience what it's like to live in New York City. She doesn't sound like a resident of New York City that's stuck in traffic for an hour and 25 minutes just to go 12 miles. Like, visiting the opera is not something that the native New Yorker does. There are people that have lived there for generations and never been to an opera. There are people that lived in New York City that have never even been to the Statue of Liberty. Like, what she's describing, her mindset, it's all fantasy land. Those are luxuries for people who have money. I don't get it. The delusion here isn't just about moving to New York City. It's the mindset of thinking that being 40 and single and New York City's economic reality don't apply to her. I don't know if she still sees herself as a 25-year-old. Either way, she's not the exception. She's the warning. And I say that because a generation of these women was sold the idea that finding yourself was enough. And that career, comfort, and companionship would somehow appear later if you just trusted the process. But the process doesn't care. At 40, the window for trial and error is tiny. The economic and dating markets don't wait for people who are still trying to find themselves. That is the brutally honest truth. She's going to find out. Like I said, I do admire her courage. I do. I wouldn't do it. And I would never suggest anyone in that position, in her position, to do it. Look, whether I agree with the content creator or not, I'm always going to link him back to the description on my YouTube channel. You can find him there. There's also a link at the bottom of the screen. You can go and check her out. I believe that's a TikTok. And yeah, what say you? Are women today not realizing with all the layoffs that are occurring in the federal government, state, right? You got tens of thousands of women being laid off. Even some talking about it may not be a bad idea to be a housewife, stay-at-home mom. That's what they're saying today. You guys better keep your man. If your man is paying all the bills, you better keep your job. Keep your job. You better work on being employee of the month. Leave it in the comments, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.